Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the program this evening. So as Iran reviews President Trump's latest peace offer, he says he is willing to wait a couple of days for a response. But as the president continues to work toward peace, the blockade is in full effect, with CENTCOM forces announcing that they have redirected 94 commercial vehicles and disabled 4 others. But according to a Reuters report, Iranian sources claim that the supreme leader said enriched uranium must stay in Iran. That's just a non-starter. Speaking in the Oval Office today, President Trump reiterated that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Listen to the president.
We're going to either make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon, or we're going to have to do something very drastic. I can think of nothing that's more important than the fact that we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
So here a reaction, U.S. Army Special Forces veteran and chief strategist for the Middle East Forum, Jim Hanson. Jim, thanks so much for joining the program this evening. I would say this, knowing the president and his philosophy and his legacy, he doesn't mess around. He just doesn't. It appears to me that the president is waiting for something. He wants to be unpredictable. What do you think it is?
I think he wants to make sure that he has given every opportunity for a peaceful negotiated end to this deal. And he's doing that. He has engaged everyone. He's engaged the Chinese. He's talked to, the Russians about it. He has worked with all of the Gulf states and everyone else who has a stake in this. But at some level, the people in Iran, the hardliners, and it's the IRGC fanatics who do not want a deal, and they're not going to make a deal. And they're not negotiating in good faith. And I keep hearing that we can't kill the leaders of another country when we're negotiating with them. I'm sorry, that's not how the rules work. Right. The rules say we can't invite them to a negotiation, sit them at a table, and then go all Game of Thrones red wedding on them. That's against the rules. But once they have shown that they're not going to work and they're actually an obstacle to peace, then we have every right to go ahead and turn some of those people into their component molecules and fly some missiles in through their windows to make sure that the rest of the people who are negotiating on that side know not to mess around with President Trump. And I can guarantee that the CIA and Mossad have a list of people who could be that have that happen to that is long and distinguished. That could be a good next step.
Jim, you touch on a good point, because I hear a lot of people in the media, many people that sit behind desks that would never serve on the front lines, be a part of the agency and intelligence community. They get a little uncomfortable when you talk about the violent nature of war. But there must be violence. If you want to walk around America and be free, you got to respect the battlefield. And the president has given them every opportunity. I never thought in my lifetime that we would see the Gulf states standing with us. They have become one of our greatest allies with Israel. And then our partners in Europe, they've abandoned us. So we got to take this moment and we got to appreciate the president willing to put it all on the line.
Who would have bet a year ago that there would be a coalition of the Gulf states, Israel, and the United States united against Iran? That alone right there is a win. But I think you make a great point. Violence is necessary for deterrence or for people who need a sharpening of the mind about peaceful negotiations to go ahead and understand that that's what they'll get if they don't play straight. And they're not playing straight with President Trump. So I think the next step, whether it's strikes or whether it's something more personal, it could be painful, and they should expect that.
We are now into, I guess, 3 levels of leadership here. We may have to go through a fifth section of leadership before they decide to believe the president's words. It hasn't worked for anyone around the world, whether it was Maduro or what's getting ready to happen in Cuba or Soleimani or the supreme leader. So we'll be following all of it. Jim, thanks so much for joining the program.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.